Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. I'm delighted to welcome you all in this risk and management webinar. My name is Alba Kecha, the account manager for risk management in PECB and the organizer of this webinar as well. Today's topic will be on best practices for access reviews, how to reduce risk and improve operational efficiency, which will be presented by Mathieu Roseau, Director of Business Development for In Fidem, a Canadian company based in Montreal. He's been working in the IT sector for more than 8 years as a security solution specialist. As a security consultant, Mr. Mathieu has been working on numerous projects for several types of industries. To find out much more and ask your questions related to the topic, today's webinar will cover the following: access reviews, which one and who, the challenges of reviewing access reviews, and improvement in your reviews campaigns. Before Mathieu begins his presentation, I would like to ask the audience to please write down any questions you may have during the webinar in the chat box on your control panel, and we will respond to a few of them at the end and answer to the remaining through email. Thank you very much. Mathieu, you may start the presentation.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Alba, for this introduction. So thank you for being here today to see this webinar about the best practices for access reviews. So the menu for today has been done already, so as it has been told, we are going to see so the type of reviews, challenges about reviews, the lesson learned, and at the end, the methodology we are providing to reduce your risks and improve your operational efficiency. And we do that with a dedicated, innovative tool, which is Brainwave Identity GRC. So feel free to ask me any type of question at the end of this webinar, of course. So a few words on the company In Fidem. In Fidem, in a nutshell, is working in the area of governance, risk management, and compliance since it was founded 10 years ago. In Fidem mission is to support organizations and their businesses through the protection of one of the most valuable assets, which is information. So we keep track of the latest development, and we analyze the current trend in the field of security, and with that we create content methodology, approaches, models in order to help our customer, and we have established 5 expertise to innovate, like the GRC one, governance, risks, and compliance, helping you over your regulation about security, whatever it is, identity analytics and intelligence, as Gartner named it. So we are going to see that today together at the end. ERP web application, cyber monitoring, which is more about incident management and incident response, and to finish, fraud management and forensic investigation. It's mostly e-discovery, so all about legal proof of an electronic felony for court, for example. So we have all that is required to provide a 360 security. And security, even if not all C-level management is aware of that, security is a business problem. So reports of data breaches, data loss, or cyber criminality are multiplying these days and becoming more and more on the front line news. You can name it: JP Morgan, Sony, Target, some US public organization. So each time it's several pillars of the company who are impacted. Can be financial, reputation, or from the compliance side. So the cost of cyber criminality and the criminally stolen data continues to rise year after year, even if there is a lot of security budget. So companies, in order to understand why there is so much struggle around those security issues and incidents, companies continue to focus most of their investment on external fraud. But the fact is, a lot of fraud, most of the time, is internal. And it's a larger problem that we can see 6% of fraud, by example, were caused by employees who took advantage of their user access to commit their profit. And actually, the figures are very telling. You have a Deloitte report saying that the biggest audit challenges and issues were founded monitoring user account and access privilege. So it's very important to understand what is going on here, that your employee and internal staff are mostly the ones who are doing those actions, because the fraud committed by them are the most pernicious, because those guys know the house and where to look. So it can be employees, former employees, contractor, former contractor, and of course a big part of the problem is the ability to keep history of access demand or the movement within organization, because at the end you don't know if it has been deactivated or not. So I like quite a lot this picture. It's very simple but very true. Is that problem exists between chair and keyboard syndrome. So despite the fact that a lot of investment is done, at the end, most of the time it's a human error. And how did we get that? At the end, it was more easy than today. Security was more about perimeter security. Application and system were typically within the company physical border, so it was inside the castle, so to speak. But with the digital transformation, the cloud-based customer provider relationship, or the reclaiming of the business units of technology product, right now it's more about having some shadow IT in your system. So accounts are created all over the place, and how you can keep track of them, how you can know what happened when someone who asks for this application is leaving the company. So things have changed, but not necessarily around the subject of access management, and access review, which is the best way to reduce your IT-related risks. So the access reviews are part of a lot of controls, international norms like ISO 272, and we all know that the access review are mandatory, and several security controls have to be done. So movement of users, privilege account, privilege access rights, all those reviews are in scope for auditor. But not everyone, not every company is at ease on those reviews or security control. So why do we need to provide them? We have said that already, is to reduce your risk. So it involves getting manager at the end to check the rights of the staff, to access applications. So who have to be done to be doing that? That good practice is to assign this responsibility to heads of departments, and each department is responsible for its own application. So we have different type of reviews, of course. The first type of one is the organizational reviews. So they are basically asking a manager, hey, are you sure that those persons are still working for you? Do we miss someone? So it involves cross-checking information between HR, information, organization, people, arrival, departure, etc. We have also the role review. So it's one step further. It's asking, is it normal or compliant that this person have access to those applications? So right now, once again, it's cross-checking information in between people, access right on different applications. And you have also, on the other side, the system rights review. So it's asking, okay, do you think that this person needs to be administrator to do a job, or to be administrator on 4 other applications? So that's the way to apply the least access principle. So it's a very important way to reduce your risk, because that's the way that you will give the minimum access rights to people to do their job. So you will avoiding risk by this way. And we have also some others, so like data access review, so rights to access shared directories, SharePoint, name it, Google Drive, OneDrive, etc., etc. Plus, you have also security reviews like sleeping account, privilege account, etc., etc. But of course, there is challenges, and those challenges most of the time are simply understandable through simple questions like, are you able today to say, hey, who works for you right now? Do you know how many person, not account, not technical account, person, what are their different accesses and which system do they have access? Is it legitimate? So in order to do so, you have to get an overall picture of those persons. So you have to collect information, cross-checking dozens of different files manually. So it's very costly in time. And at the end, you have most of the time poor quality catalogs. And it's very important to also be able to put together all those information into a dedicated system, an information system, not file share, not spreadsheet of Excel. You have to, or little scripts in your side. It's important at this stage that you have to keep track on that in order to not have all the associated costs to spiral and also ensure that the data presented for validation will be good, because otherwise at the best it will be partial or at the worst incorrect, and the person in charge of validation will have them rejected. So some of the challenges, one of the top is how can you tell if this access right is valid? First answer is apply the least access privilege. So of course it's cross-grain at the beginning because it's hard to do so, and you can implement some SOD control as well. So SOD control on the small scope, but on the sensitive one, the one on the light of compliance, by example. So it will help you to know if the information is valid, but of course there is challenges, and you can apply also as a segregation of duty principle, and have some data quality. Data quality, that you know that's your goal right now. It's really important to have the best data quality possible, because you have to be sure that the data will be understood by the person in charge of the review or the manager. So can the data be used as it, or does it need to be reworked in order to make it understandable? How many accounts have to be deactivated? How many often account, technical account, or with wrong spelling? So it's very important at this point that you do your homework around the subject of data quality. Because there is also those questions, very simple but so hard to give a correct answer on it. So who are the person that you are trying to have a review on it. Most of the time, managers have to review technical data, not the useful information from their side. They have to review an account, not information from HR, but that's what they need. So your challenge is to provide that. And what can they do? What can they do? The person inside the review, or those accounts that are getting access to an application. So those access from account give what level of permission? What permission is linked to another application or another file share, by example? What are the business's consequences? And who have granted this access, and for what? So there is a lot of question, and history around that is very important. Do we have some history track? Because maybe at the first, the original reason were good, it was right at the time, but not anymore. But we have to know. So all around that, information correlation, it's very important. You have to get a context to take right decision. Is it a risk, what I'm saying? How many persons have the same rights in this team? And you have also plus of the information correlation, the data historic. So you need to compare data across multiple photos, so time slot, in order to detect changes. So arrival, mutation, departure, new access rate, etc. So the correlation needs to be consolidated, and you have to look at how it's evolving each time. That's why you have to automate the most you can around that, and to use an information system to operate that. So as a summary, keep it simple. That's a gold rule, and for the access review, it's one of the best, because if the more it's simple, the more the manager will be able to do his task. So because otherwise the task may not be done correctly, and you have to be also synthetic. You have, for a manager, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes to perform, no time to waste, by example, understanding how it should be done. Otherwise, they may give up before the end or take more time than is necessary. Or at worst, give you a signature at the end without even looking on it, on the information, the data. So your risks will be still there. Maybe at the regulation process side, okay, I have a signature, but regarding the security issues, you will still be in the red zone. So we see that a lot. And of course, security issues have to be understood. By that, we can work with the identity intelligent approach, as Gartner is naming it. And of course, you have also to automate as much as you can. You have to take time to mitigate the results and lower the risks, because that's the way you will be able to perform with much more efficiency. And prior to all that, of course, the data have to be gathered and consolidated. So how to perform that? That's a good question. So of course, you have to define a scope. So you have to scope your process in order to ensure the effectiveness of the review and to minimize the time spent carrying out the review. So you can do that by focusing on the risk, like we said just before, and no max than 30% to review. Otherwise, most people get bored doing the review, or most managers get bored, because we have to admit it's never a funny task to be done. And also very important, the incremental reviews, only the changes recorded since the last full review or the last review. So it's very focused. So it's partial reviews about movement within organization, changes in status, jobs, project, changes in the assignment of permission, and of course, once again, automate. Automate to be sure to take the correct time to reduce your risk, and please your managers, please your auditors, or simply your IT security team. You have to automate also to lower your discrepancies and to use what IT is made for, which is helping you on non-added value tasks. So, yeah, a good practice for you, have a full annual review around a security perimeter on the compliance side, and after that you can have some partial reviews for the rest of the year. Good practice, of course, is to do so each quarter and have a big one. And it's for that you will be able to improve your reviews. So that's why right now we are going to see the methodology that In Fidem is providing around this subject of access rights and access reviews. So we propose the dedicated solution. So it's from a tool dedicated for access review from Brainwave Identity GRC. So the mission of this tool is to identify and mitigate all the risks related to the user as in permission in the IT system. So it's based on the consolidation from the IT system in order to be able to know who is working for you, your employees, your contractor, trainees, as well as their belonging organization, their job title, or what they can do in the information system, whatever the application is, or the permission level, on-premise, cloud application, mainframe, file share, what they have been allowed to do through the security policy and the access granting workflow. And so all of that is mixed in order to ensure that it's consistent and therefore ensuring a least privilege principle and enforcing your segregation of duty policy. If you have not, it's not a problem, but you can construct one. And it's a European company, French-based, with offices in Canada too, and they have more than 60 customers since the creation 5 years ago, named in Gartner in the IAM Magic Quadrant 3 years ago, cool vendor 1 year after, and vendor to watch since then. So it's very dedicated tool on this subject of access rights, and it's working in the area of what Gartner is calling the identity and access administration. So it's covering the management side, which is the first level, so where you have some account creation, modification, and suppression at the end. You have, after that, the governance, so it's the way you can report and have some indicator, and you have at the end the intelligence side. So it's working with BI dashboard, very focused reports, and having also a lot of SOD possibilities to conduct your security controls. And of course, it's business oriented. That's mainly the difference in between the classical IAM solution or projects that we are seeing on the market. It's mainly to be sure that the business owner or the business manager are able to take back action on their side on the security issue, not only from the IT side. And so to do so, Brainwave use a business intelligent approach to secure the assets. So it's not focused only on permission user rights, but also on HR information like organization, job title, commitment, perimeter of action. And it's working with importing information into an identity model. So you have no connector, you have no agent, and this identity model allows you to link the information to the IT commitment, such as account detail, access permission, and when it's available, access logs. So access logs allows you also to perform behavior analysis. So you can understand right now what are the people supposed to do regarding their roles, their profile. You can know also what are they able to do regarding their account and permission, and what are they been doing. So you can look at that a few times because you can import the law, you can import the security policy, which is a top-down authority in your organization. And so the beauty of that is that we have out of the box a lot of intelligence provided right from the starting of the project. So you have a lot of user-friendly interface to facilitate the reviews. All the data are clickable and exportable. You can save your progress. You can highlight the risky situation like a news account, problem with task separation, the over-allocated rights, the atypical rights. So you can have also reviews limited to changes that have occurred since the previous campaign, like new staff, ex-staff, staff transfer, and you can also have some automated correction within the systems with the link of an ITSM solution, by example, in order to take care of the consolidation and the monitoring of the processes. And they have also a lot of certification module available right now. So you can have your project started in a few weeks and have already some out-of-the-box review module prepared for you, like HR reviews, so review of people in organization, access right reviews by organizational manager, access right reviews by application manager, and all the data is automatically collected and reconciliated and consolidating. So it brings together all the information from the information system, so processes, structure, employees, etc., like we said, in order to help you. So as the wrap-up, the benefit of that is it can be set up very quickly. You have no risk because there is no connectors. Any application can be reviewed. You have plenty of out-of-the-box workflow reviews. Typical projects, most of the time, are done in less than 4 months, depending, of course, of your scope and perimeter. But and what is a very good thing also, it's complementary to existing or future IAM project. You don't have to get rid of all your previous investment in security infrastructure or database. So it's truly in order to help you in the niche market of security access and access reviews, in order to have some added value very quickly and to give answer to your regulation market and auditor in a very easy way, and in order to give you time to reduce your risk of fraud and information leaks, whatever your in-house systems are made of. Is it something very technical, like a top secret platform, or is it something in the cloud? No problem. Everything can be under the compliance regulation scope of your organization now, as you will have to advance on this subject in a much more secure and simple way than before. So I'm right now at the end of my presentation. Feel free to ask any question, of course, right now, if you need more information about what I've been said. And I was very happy to present you this subject today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mathieu, very much. I would like to ask the audience to ask your questions now. In the meantime, I will start with the first question. The first question is, what are some of the key considerations when transforming IAM?
What are the key considerations while transforming IAM?
Yes.
I'm not so sure to understand clearly the question regarding the subject of access reviews, but in my vision, the consideration in order to provide access reviews from the IAM side, most of the time, is that you need first to connect all your critical application necessary to your business mission, to implement profile, role. It's very technical, it's very long, so most of the time, the governance side of having your reviews, it's at the end of your overall IAM project. So that's why the solution concern here, Brainwave, is focused on the analytics and governance side, which is we don't need connectors, we don't need agents on the server to provide already the overall view on the access and the rights, and to offer some dedicated dashboard and interface to perform the access review. So it's another way to advance on this subject. There is not only one way to have a good and strong access review processes. You can start directly with your processes of reviews without having 4 years or 5 years to connect 5 or 6 applications on your system, IAM system.
Thank you very much for your answer. We will move on with the second questions. Who is principally responsible for reducing risk or access to data in corporation?
It's a good question. It depends, of course, of the organization we are talking about. Reducing risk, you can have the compliance organization, compliance staff. You can have the audit staff. You can have also some political organization around the CIO, CEO. Sorry, but it depends truly of. Do the management is aware of the risk? Do they want to take seriously the control on this subject? Because most of the time is linked to the infrastructure or you know, very technical side of the organization, but it's mostly a business concern. So yeah, it depends of how big your company is and how structured it is.
Thank you, Mathieu, very much. Because of the time limit, we will now answer just one more question, which is, with so many business applications, servers, mobile devices, etc., do you know which assets are critical and must be protected?
Yes, of course, the one necessary to your mission, your business mission. Also, all the ERP, most of the time, what we can see is that the perimeter of your compliance reviews are by the auditor. I mean, that's the one that is supposed to be included into the access review. We can say that at the beginning, 12, 14 applications mostly are critical in the most organization. When it's banking, by example, sector, we can have like 40, 50 critical application. And the beauty of this approach is that you can address all those applications within months. So it's very the opposite of a traditional IAM project, which offer you the access review at the end of we don't know how many years. Right now, in several months, you can have covered your all application, your all critical application covered by your access reviews.
Thank you, Mathieu, very much for this highly informative webinar. And I want to thank all the attendees as well who have taken time out of their busy schedule to participate. I hope you all have learned something new today and your questions have been answered. This webinar is also recorded and can be found in our official page, and which will be sent to you in the following days. Don't forget to check back on our upcoming webinars on topics of your interest. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week. Until then, have a great week. Mathieu, thank you very much and have a great week as well.
Thank you, Alba. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. Bye-bye.